What's going on, guys? Chris here again. I found a super cool overpass, another bridge that I get to go and try and find some sweet aquarium driftwood on. But today's topic of today's video is keeping Cory Catfish with betta fish, keeping Corydorus with betta fish as tank mates. All right, so there are some cars going by, so I'm gonna have to be careful. I don't have the stabilizer on me. This is kind of just an on-the-go thing. But look at how cool this is, guys. This is just kind of a small little bridge, and I noticed the river is kind of flooded over, so I'm hoping for some really cool, at least pieces of driftwood I might be able to find. But guys, my Facebook group, Betta Fish Keepers, it's the largest betta fish Facebook group there is. We have over 100,000 members. I highly advise that you join. It's a great resource. We have tons of great admins, moderators, and one of the most asked questions in the group is, can we keep Corydorus catfish with betta fish? So I want to deep dive into this. So the entire subject matter of keeping tank mates with betta fish is this huge, crazy, controversial topic, you know. And when we're talking about keeping Corydorus catfish with betta fish, you immediately kind of just think that's probably going to be a bad idea. If you've ever kept Cory Catfish, you know that these fish are constantly moving around the tank, sifting through the substrate, and if you think about keeping them with a betta fish, I just envision a betta fish going absolutely crazy over the Cory Catfish. But here's the deal, guys. This actually does work in a lot of betta tanks, and the reason is because, well, let's talk about it. There's a handful of variables that need to be talked about when keeping Corydorus catfish with betta fish. What first needs to be talked about is the fact that Corydorus catfish need to be in schools. You know, you need 5 of them, quantity 6, 7, 8, and at minimum, you probably need a 20-gallon aquarium size. And, you know, a lot of people have their betta fish in a 5-gallon tank, so that's just not going to cut it. So first of all, if you want to keep Corydorus with your betta fish, you need a 20-gallon aquarium at minimum, and you're going to need like a quantity of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of these fish, because that's when they do the best. Secondly, some of the Corydorus are smaller in size. You know, like the pygmy Corys are one of the smaller ones. That's a more common one that are kept with betta fish, and you can see here in the videos. These work a lot better because they are smaller, and, you know, and thirdly, guys, here's another thing. A lot of betta fish just do not allow tank mates whatsoever, and it's really going to depend on your specific betta fish's personality if him or her are going to allow for a Corydorus catfish or a bottom feeder catfish essentially. So yes, a lot of people are effectively keeping Cory Catfish in their betta fish tanks, and it's working out quite well with them. And like I said, guys, the caveat is you need to have a decent amount of Corydorus catfish because they love to be in groups. And in order to have that group of Cory Catfish, you need to have a more surface area of your tank bottom, you know. They usually utilize the bottom of the tank the most because they're bottom dwellers, and, you know, they just need that extra space. So if you have a 5-gallon aquarium, it's not going to work. If you have a 20-gallon at minimum, it's probably most likely going to work. You might be able to squeeze some pygmy Corydorus in a 10-gallon aquarium with your betta fish. All right, guys, let's jump into the group here. I have a post that I'd like to share. Does anyone here have Cory Catfish in with their bettas? Sadie says a lot of people do in probably a 15 or 20-gallon aquarium because they're schooling fish. That has 3 likes. I really agree with that. Olivia says, I wouldn't put any kind of Cory in anything under a 20-gallon tank except pygmy Corys. They need to be in schools 6 or plus, and the floor space and prefer to be vertical. That also needs sand substrate because gravel can hurt their barbells. Yes, we forgot to talk about you need a sand substrate. That is kind of, some people would argue that's kind of a wise tale now because, you know, some Corys are found in natural habitat just doing fine with gravel, and a lot of people find that they do well with gravel. So, Kaylee says, I have Corydorus and Odos with mine in a 20-gallon. Rebecca says, I plan to get 5 pandas, and my 30-gallon long at the moment is only a betta. Nicole says, I have 4 juvenile Julie Corys in a 10-gallon with 3 female bettas. Everyone is being upgraded to a 36-gallon soon. Abby says, I have 4 albinos with my female. I'd say the minimum is a 10-gallon aquarium. Here's a cool little video from Callie. Yeah, it seems to be exactly what I was telling you guys. So this could effectively work, guys. Jen says, I've got 8 pygmy Corys in a 15-gallon with my beta. They are doing great. I have a few that chill out on a beta leaf, and he doesn't even bat an eye at them. You can fit 5 pygmy Corys in a 10-gallon if you got a smaller setup. La-di-da-di. My beta was too aggressive towards the Cory, so I had to return the Cory Catfish. Yes, this is good here. My beta chased the Cory Catfish around, stole their food, would not let the Cory eat their food. He was very territorial. So yes, guys, this is the caveat that I was talking about. You know, it really depends on your specific beta's personality if this is going to be allowed, because I've dealt with a lot of betas that don't deal with anything. I mean, we've seen them eat huge shrimp. We've seen them kill any kind of tetras. Because beta tanks tend to be small, I recommend pygmy Corys. These are Hasburos, but they're actually much active. Yeah, there's tons of different species of Corydorus catfish you have to choose from. Pygmies, albinos, pandas are some of the most common ones. Laura says, I have pygmies and love them. There are 6 in a 20-gallon. I have a 10-gallon. These are all kind of just saying the same thing, guys, as to what I was saying before. I just thought it would be cool to share a little post here. So let me know in the comment section if you plan to keep some Cory Catfish with your beta fish, what size tank you have. All right, guys, thanks.